If you're over 60 and still pleasuring yourself the same way you did in your 20s, you might be slowly damaging your penis without even realizing it. I've had men walk into my office feeling proud of their routines, only to break down when they learn those same habits are the reason their erections have weakened, their sensitivity has faded, and their self-confidence has taken a hit. What they thought was completely harmless was actually causing slow, lasting damage. I'm Dr. Mohit Kara, and I've been helping men with their health for more than 30 years. In that time, I've performed thousands of procedures, spoken with countless men just like you, and helped them regain their sexual health, their dignity, and their peace of mind. And I'm speaking to you today because I don't want you to become another story of something that could have been prevented, especially not when it's still in your hands to change things. You've probably heard that masturbation is normal, natural, and even good for you. And in many ways, that's true. But once you reach your 60s and beyond, your body doesn't respond the way it used to. Your blood vessels, your skin, your nerves, and even your prostate, everything begins to change. What once brought pleasure might now be quietly putting you at risk. But there's good news here, and I want you to really hear this. Once you understand the 5 most common and harmful mistakes older men make when they masturbate, you can start turning things around. You can improve your blood flow, bring back sensation, and reconnect with your body in a way that feels fulfilling and enjoyable again. And here's the part that surprises most people. Almost every older man I see is making the very first mistake we're about to talk about. Before we dive in, if you're serious about protecting your sexual health as you get older, take a second to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. That way, you'll never miss important advice that could help you hold on to your function, your confidence, and your future. And if what I'm saying here is resonating with you, just type the number 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. That simple feedback helps me create content that truly supports you. Now that you understand why this matters so much, let's get into the first and possibly most damaging mistake that older men are making during masturbation. This is something I see almost every week in my clinic. Most men don't even realize they're doing it, but it's slowly dulling their sensitivity, cutting off circulation, and damaging their ability to enjoy real intimacy. Let's talk about something I call the death grip. I can't even count how many older men have come into my office feeling confused and frustrated because things just don't feel the same anymore. They say their erections aren't as strong, their climax feels weaker, and that something is missing. Every time I ask the same question, how exactly have you been touching yourself? And almost every time, their answer reveals one of the most harmful habits I see, what we call the death grip. Now, I know it sounds a bit dramatic, but the name really fits. The death grip is when you use too much pressure while pleasuring yourself, gripping too tightly, moving too quickly, and being too rough. It's a habit that tends to sneak in over the years, especially when men are in a hurry or just trying to get it over with. But here's the problem: once you're past 60, your penis just isn't built for that kind of pressure anymore. The skin gets thinner. The blood vessels are more delicate. The nerves, especially the ones responsible for feeling pleasure, become more sensitive to damage. And yet, every time you use that tight grip, you may be cutting off your circulation, causing tiny tears, and damaging the very nerves that help you feel pleasure and maintain an erection. Some men eventually come to me having lost much of their sensitivity. Others have noticed a reduction in size due to internal scarring. A few even develop something called Peyronie's disease, where the penis starts to bend or curve from repeated trauma. And here's the hardest part: they had no idea they were doing this to themselves. I'm not saying this to frighten you. I'm saying it to help you wake up. If you're using the same grip and motions you used when you were 20 or 30, it's time to stop. Your body has changed, and what once felt totally normal may now be causing real harm. You owe it to yourself to be gentler. Treat your body like it matters, because it does. Every touch matters now. Use some lubrication, ease up on the pressure, slow things down, and really pay attention to how your body feels. That's how you protect sensitivity, restore healthy blood flow, and bring back pleasure. not by forcing it, but by respecting it. Now, while this is one of the most physically damaging mistakes, what we're about to talk about next goes even deeper literally. Because mistake number 2 doesn't just involve your skin or your grip, it affects your prostate, and the discomfort it causes can catch many men off guard. Let's talk about the second mistake: masturbating without lubrication. There's one patient who really stands out in my mind. He was 72, retired, and still very much active when it came to pleasuring himself. And I want to be clear, that's something I always encourage. Maintaining a connection with your body is healthy at any age. But he came to see me because he was experiencing irritation, discomfort, and a deep concern that something serious might be wrong with his penis. After talking with him for just a few minutes, I uncovered the root of the problem. He'd been masturbating dry for decades. No lubricant, no moisture, just skin on skin. And now, after all those years, his body had had enough. Now I know for many men, especially if you've been doing it the same way for years, it might not seem like a big deal. You might think it's always worked fine before. But here's the truth: once you're over 60, masturbating without lubrication becomes one of the quickest ways to injure your penis, and you may not even realize it's happening. Your skin is no longer the same as it was in your 20s or 30s. It's thinner, more delicate, and slower to heal. Every time you masturbate without lubrication, you create tiny bits of friction. They may not seem like much in the moment, but over time, that constant rubbing causes irritation, tiny breaks in the skin, and even scarring beneath the surface. Men often tell me they've noticed their penis feels a bit rougher than it used to, or that it doesn't feel as sensitive. Sometimes they say it feels tighter or just different. That's not just aging. That's damage. When you don't use lubrication, the repeated friction can wear down your skin's natural defenses. It reduces elasticity, inflames the tissue, and leaves your penis more prone to injuries that can take a long time to heal. In some cases, the tissue underneath becomes hardened, almost like little patches that affect the way your penis moves and feels. This isn't just about staying comfortable in the moment. It's about protecting your ability to feel pleasure and avoiding painful issues later on. And here's the good news: this is one of the easiest problems to fix. There's no reason not to use lubrication. Whether you like water-based or silicone-based, the right lube makes all the difference. It cuts down on friction, protects the skin, and helps blood flow more easily. And as we get older, good circulation becomes even more important. If you've never used lubricant before, that's okay. It's never too late to start. I encourage you to make it a regular part of your routine, not just once in a while, but every single time. It's a small change that can make a big difference in protecting your penis and your overall sexual health for years to come. Now, we've talked about what happens when the outside of your body is irritated. But what if I told you the next mistake could affect what's going on inside your body, specifically your prostate, your urinary system, and even your hormonal balance? This next part gets a little more serious because it's about listening to your body, especially after climax. Let's talk about what I call the prostate feedback mistake. One of the most overlooked dangers I see in older men isn't something you can see in a mirror. It's deep inside the body, in the prostate. And sadly, by the time many men notice something feels off, they're already dealing with discomfort that could have been prevented. Here's the truth: ignoring the signs your prostate is trying to give you, especially during or after masturbation, is a mistake that can slowly take a toll on your sexual function, your comfort, and even your quality of life. I've had men in their late 60s or 70s come to me with unusual aches or pressure between their legs. Some describe it as a dull ache behind the scrotum. Others say it burns when they pee after climax. A few tell me it feels like they didn't quite empty their bladder. These aren't just random aches that come with age. These are warning signs. They often point to an inflamed or irritated prostate. And most of the time, it's linked to how frequently or how forcefully a man has been stimulating himself without giving his body enough time to recover. Your prostate may be a small gland, but it plays a big role in your sexual health. It produces the fluid in your semen, and it's connected to the same nerves and blood vessels that help support your erections. As you age, your prostate becomes more sensitive. It's more likely to swell, especially if it's overworked from too many sessions to close together or if you're not paying attention to how your body feels afterward.
What men John Tizilasi isi zatu mag ejaculation, especially without posapozesi, can kasite posasite to become congested. Over time, that can lead to something called posasitotatacy, which is chronic inflammation of the posasite. It is uncomfortable. It can make colorectal engorgement. It can interfere with your ability to pee normally, and it can definitely make it harder to get a keep an erection. And no, TSC no magic pin that fixes it overnight. That is one would only see 10 million the patient. Masturbation is something they see then it is and conversation with your body. If your body is telling you something that something that slow down, it is possessor, pain, and feeling of discomfort at the climax, don't see it all. That is not getting older. That is your body chẳng to see pick up. So far, we've talked about physical habits and yoga zip, whether you are using lubrication, and whether you are paying attention to how your posasite dissipate. But now, we need to see and bit. Because it has negative mistake we are going to talk about the something sit in your body. It's sit in your mind. Now let us talk about the fourth mistake, and this one can a little deeper than because it is not easy about what your body is doing. It is about what your body is learning. Mistake number 4 is watching hard and stimulation porn too often. Over TSC, if had men on the men sit ago see from me and say something along the line up, duck, majority understand it. Everything work 5 am alone, but when am with me partner, nothing happen. They are confused, flaccitated, and often in bezacy. And in many cases, the possible mission physical at all. It is neurological. Typically, this is something about government assem. I am not here to tell you what you should solve the work. But more want to explain what happened in such a member when it is exposed to frequent, high intensity, fast and pacey sexual content and especially as you get older. Your body is incredibly good at adapting. It learns pattern fast. And when you regularly expose it to feel with consistent novelty, quick changes, and exaggerated emoji, it that to you how it possesses pleasure. Over time, your body begins expanding more cytosonally to what sionthesicosin thantozin de leptin, connection intimacy. It is not that you value intimacy in gene connection. It is that your body has been conditioned to experience a certain level of stimulation that is simply not position in everyday life. And the longer that pattern continues, the harder it becomes to feel on without it. This can maintain during also affect your body. It can interfere with healthy blood flow, lower the quality of your erection, and this is the release of important chemicals like dopamine and oxytocin. This is the same chemicals that help you feel bonded, satisfied, and emotionally close to someone. When your body isn't releasing them positively, it affects more than your performance and it affects your connection with yourself and others. Even in men who want healthy, this expansive sex does become so dependent on the gotten stimulation that nothing usually works for them. And that is heartbreaking, because it can relent. The pathways can be rebuilt, but only if you catch it early and give your mind the chance to reset. So if you notice that in the love intimacy doesn't finish exciting as it you thought and if you find that being with a partner feel distant even situation then pay attention. That is your body is seeking for a change. She's stepping away from the psychosin for anyone. Keep your body and body and budget. See if you can experience pleasure and see through you talk, budget, and possession then without needing to work anything. It might feel different at first, even uncomfortable. But over time, you man can reconnect with your body in a more natural, goes on this way. This isn't about taking something away. It is about giving yourself something better. Something that lasts. Gene pleasure, gene connection, gene intimacy. And now, that buzzing you see to the fifth and fun and mistake. And this one must suppose you then because it is not about technique or timing even what I'm watching. It is about your mindset. Thelasi mistake is not cheating masturbation as ang part of your own health. Out of on the mistake một si man-made, this must be the most misunderstood. Because on the surface, it doesn't seem like a mistake at all. But here see the thing, for men over 60, the way you approach masturbation isn't easy about policy anymore than it is about when đến biếng. Men on the maintain mete masturbate easy to help them fall asleep, automatic easy, or simply because it is become an habit. There is no intention behind it, no awareness, no connection to what the body is doing or feeling. And over time, sa lack of mindfulness take anh tone. When you cheat masturbation like anh quick talk to check off the list then as something done on autopilot then you see paying attention to your body as signal. You miss the early sign of cytogen inflammation. You lose that natural rhythm that keep your blood flowing, you're not working properly, and your sexual energy a lot. Your penis, like as the other part of your body, need to be treated with care. When you slow down, when you budget, when you cheat TC to see something meaningful and amazing instead of PC automatic then you actually support your health, not easy your pleasure. Masturbation can be calming, it can be comforting, it can even be healing, but only if you treat it with hesitation it deserves. The thing to do it doing it out of habit without any connection to the experience doesn't easy than your sensitivity then it down your emotional connection to yourself. When that happens, you might find you need more stimulation easy to feel something. You might find that you are doing it more often, but enjoying it lazy. And if you have a partner, you might find that intimacy feel more like possession than pleasure. So here see what một tên me patient, make it anh mindful project. Take your time, begin done. Notice how your body feel. Cause it anh came, positive. Let it be something that support you when đến biếng đến not easy anh routine, but anh di chuan okay. When you start doing that, everything begin to change. You become more tuned in. You become more responsive. You don't see the up angry. And more importantly, you bring more satisfaction, comfort, and connection into your life than when you are alone with someone else. So if you have been going through the emotion without thinking much about it is time to the thing. Because see how you treat your body now won't shape how it treat you in the years ahead.